Thank you for joining me for this brief tutorial on the Windows 10 video editing application. My name is Daniel Bam. I'm a member of the Fort Worth ISD Educational Technology team, and our team is working to provide information on materials and applications that you can use trying to reach your students from a distance. And what I intend to cover in this video, it's not comprehensive. It's not going to show you everything that you can do with this application, but it will show you how to open the application on your Windows 10 laptop, how to gather materials from your computer into a project, some basic ways to manipulate those materials and set them up so that they work in the order that you need them to, and finally how to share them with your students via Google Classroom or an learning management system, or even just posting them on a website. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to search for the video application in Windows 10. I click the Start button on the bottom left, I type in video, and you may get different results depending on what all's loaded in your computer, but you're looking for the Video Editor app. And give that a left click. It may take a second to load if you've not used it before, and sometimes even when you've used it before, it's a pretty robust application. It can take a minute to get up and running. Once the screen loads, you'll see projects that you've worked on before if you've used the application before, and if you've not used it before, you should still see the option to begin a new video project. You can hover over that square and give it a left click. Now, what I've done outside of this tutorial is there were a few video clips on my iPhone that I shot for demonstration purposes, and I went ahead and loaded them onto this computer in their own folder. And that's one thing I always recommend, is try to keep media as discreetly packaged as possible so that all of your files are not mixed up in one place. It makes them easier to find when you're doing projects like this. Right off the top, you're going to have to name your project. I'm going to call this March 22nd Practice. I always like to use dates in my project names. It makes it easier for me and for the students to track things down. On the left side, I have a project library, and when I click the Add button, I have the option to add materials from this PC. Give that a left click, and it should pop up a window where it takes you to your file browser, where you could go to your documents or your pictures folder, wherever your materials are stored. In this case, they're stored on my desktop in a folder called Ethan Video, and I'm going to left click over here to the right of the clips, hold down the button, and do a lasso so that I can import all 5 of these clips into the project. They're all selected. I click open. Takes a moment to add the files. Once the files are in your project library, notice that they're all checked and selected. What I like to do is go ahead and have them all selected and place them in my storyboard. And when I click the Place in Storyboard button, you'll see that the files stack up in the order that they were imported down on the bottom in the storyboard window. Now, you're not committed to having the files in this order. You can click on a file and drag it and place it in a different order. So if you need to sequence you talking on camera with graphics or information, if you're putting materials together for your students, you can do that pretty easily just by clicking on files and dragging them in the storyboard window. What you can also do, and I'll do a basic demonstration of this, is you can select a clip and you can trim the beginning and the end. So on this clip, I may want to begin it just a little bit later, catch it maybe just as those bubbles are going in. And then maybe I want to trim the ending, bring it back a little bit to where I end with my son Ethan looking at the camera. Click Done. And what that allows you to do is, if you're preparing materials for your students, you can trim off the beginning and end of you speaking on camera, presenting material. If you have some kind of video material that you only want to present a small portion of, that trim function can help you out as well. And you can do that on any clip. You can trim the beginning and end. And then you can review your final product up here in the media playback and watch how your clips progress. Once you're ready to finalize what you've put together for your students, as I watch my son slide down the stairs over and over again, it's time to come up and left click on the Finish Video button. When you left click on Finish Video, I recommend leaving it high quality, especially if you're trying to put materials on the screen for your students to consume, and you click Export. Now, even though your project has a name, it's going to go ahead and suggest that you give the video file a name as well. It defaults to the project name, March 22 Practice, but I might call this something different, such as March 22nd Ethan, in case I want to use the same project file to create multiple videos. So March 22nd Ethan is going to my desktop. I click Export. A progress bar pops up. Depending on how much material you have, this process could take as much as 5 to 10 minutes. Once the export progress bar is gone, you'll see a media player pop up. And that media player will allow you to preview your final clip that you've put together from your different materials. So again, this wasn't a comprehensive view of everything that you can do with the Windows 10 video application. Now that you've had a chance to explore some of the basic features, I encourage you to keep in touch with your campus's digital learning specialist. He or she can help you with more advanced features, can help you put together materials that best serve your students. But I do appreciate you working through this tutorial with me, and I look forward to working with you again soon. Thank you.